Okay, well, it's the end of the day. Time for the conclusion and some tips and recommendations. So I've made some notes here. I don't want to forget anything. Okay, tip number 1. Don't mix concrete with your skin. I made this mistake today. I think it would be okay to, I feel like you gotta get your hands down and dirty in this stuff. I mean, it's mud, it's visceral, you're a kid again, playing with mud and just loving it. So you gotta get down and get dirty a little bit. Wipe it off pretty soon, if you do one thing and you get stuff all over your wrists like I did, wash that off. That's my first recommendation. Here's a little sample of what happened there. I don't know if you can see that, but I've got some blotchiness. My hands are incredibly dried out. I got marks all over it. It just eats through the skin. There's concrete under my fingernails. Tip 1, concrete and skin. No. Number 2. Okay, so the packaging says this is a fun and easy procedure. It was fun. Easy? Do you call lugging 60-pound bags of concrete back and forth across your lawn easy? I'm not saying it's difficult either. It's simple, it's a clear process, it was enjoyable. I wouldn't call it easy, it's not difficult, somewhere in between. You want to have some upper body strength. That said, brings me to number 3 here. It's number 3. Yeah. Forget the idea of a 60-pound bag to 4 quarts of water, or whatever it is. Throw it out of your mind. Here's what you want to do. Put half, fill the bucket, the Odjob bucket. I'm presuming that you're working with a bucket here. Fill that bucket to half with your concrete mixture, okay? And then add 2 very full lidfuls, which I think is 3 quarts of water, to that half-filled bucket. That's going to give you a really nice consistency, more or less. I mean, everybody's going to eyeball this a little bit different, but it's going to come out to a nice consistency, and what you'll end up with is 45 pounds or around there of concrete that you're rolling around on the ground and that you're carting around and lugging back and forth. And the difference between 45 pounds of concrete and 60 plus water is immeasurable. Okay? Those 15 pounds are critical 15 pounds. So that's my first recommendation. That's going to put you in a situation where 1 bucket worth of concrete is going to make 1 stone with just a little bit left over as sort of a safety area. So you don't end up with a situation where if you're doing the 60-pound to 4 quarts of water thing, where you end up with a third of a bucket left, and then now how do I measure this out? And I've got to eyeball the concrete and then try and figure out the water mixture again. Forget it. Do it 1 for 1 like that. You make 1 bucket of concrete, you pour 1 patio stone. It's just simpler. You can create a repetition. You can start to get an idea. Be able to eyeball the next step. So that brings me to mud consistency. It's mud. That's what you want to go for. Not oozing around, sloshing in the bucket, not so grainy that you can pick it up and make a snowball out of it and throw it across the room. It should be mud. And you don't have to worry too much about this. It's very forgiving, to be honest. But you do want to, I would say, err on the side of liquid as opposed to sand, because the liquid is going to fill in all the space, all the gaps, and it's going to get into the corners. When it settles, when it sets, it's going to just be a stronger block. If you've got grainy stuff in there and there's chunks in here, you're just going to end up with a stone that maybe you're going to put weight on it 6 months from now and it's going to crack on you. So lean toward liquidy. Don't make it into, slushy. It needs to be mud. Simple as that. Okay, mud. Okay, this is a good tip. Get down on your hands and knees. This is a lumbar spine intensive process. This is going to be all lower back all day. This project took me, I think, 4.5 hours when you take out my break time and you take out the beginning of the day where I was raking and prepping the area, of just dealing with concrete, just pouring it 4.5 hours to 13 blocks. I'm not saying I'm the best concreter in the business here. This is my first project like this. You could probably beat that time very easily. That's how long it took me. If you're going to be doing that, and your spine is going to be involved like it is, get down on your hands and knees whenever you have the opportunity. When you're rolling that bucket, that Odjob bucket, mixing the concrete back and forth, throw your pride out. Do not stand and try and walk with it and that kind of thing. Get down on your hands and knees. Just be a dog. Get on the floor. It's going to save you a lot of suffering. Okay, let's see. What's next? I guess that's pretty much everything. My conclusion about the Odjob Pathmate Stone thing that we used and the Odjob bucket is that it works. It's good. I'm especially impressed by the bucket, how quickly it mixes the concrete, how easy it was to work with. The actual form itself slipped in, slipped out. The packaging says that after 1 minute it's set and you can remove it. I agree. It actually works like that. The way I was doing it with mixing one bucket and pouring one, if you do it in the right sequence, this will never be an issue because it's going to take you 6 or 7 minutes to make a bucket of concrete before you can take the slab off. So as long as you're not making your mud into water, it should set before you get to anything. That being said, Odjob, cool. It was a fun project. I've got a little more to go, and I'm actually looking forward to doing the rest of it. So, you know, good stuff. I hope you benefit from some of what I've done today and some of the tips that I gathered for you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I may shoot some more video of this project at a later time. If I do, then when I get that, you can click right here, right there, and that'll take you to the next video in the line. Maybe it'll just be, you know, the finished process. I still hold in my hand here. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you next time. And remember, if it feels like work, you're doing something wrong. Okay?